Hey, John, thanks for joining us again. How's it going?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
I know we're going to be keeping an eye nationwide and worldwide about the Pope and everything, but also some big news right here on the home front with President Trump meeting the brand new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. How'd that go?
I think it went well, and it was nice to meet with a leader of Canada who isn't hated by the Canadians like the last one was in December. So I think it was a good meeting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Trump literally, as the man sat there, said, "We don't want their cars. We don't want their aluminum." And he just kind of sat there. You could tell a couple of times he was a little uncomfortable, but I guess they generally had a good meeting. But it was interesting. He told Trump, I paraphrase, he said, "You're in real estate. You understand this. Sometimes property just isn't for sale, and we are not for sale, or hey, we will never be for sale." And Trump's response, never say never.
It always comes down to price.
It was good, and I think the 51st state talk was directed at Trudeau. Yeah, Trudeau did a lot of let's just say self-righteous talk, and at the end he really did have a 22% favorable, 74% unfavorable. I mean, that was Trudeau's Canadian favorability at the end, and so I think a lot of that was Trudeau, you're coming here kind of as an equal, and you're really not. You're very unpopular in your own country. It's a smaller country. I think it's going to be a friendly relationship. I thought William Shatner had the best line, of course, being from Canada, old Captain Kirk, saying, he should have just been playful and gone back and said, well, we're going to make the U.S. our 11th province. I think everyone would have laughed.
There you go.
Negotiating and making points.
Yeah. I was thinking about this yesterday, John, on my rock and roll radio show that I do in the afternoon. If we did... Think about the benefits if we did get Canada as our 51st state. From a music perspective, there's a lot of good music that came out of Canada that would then be American, right? The band Rush. I guess Tim would be excited that Celine Dion is now an American.
We would have multiple types of bacon.
Yeah. And beer. And basketball, hockey team.
We've been winning the Stanley Cup since 1993. We don't really need that, but I do appreciate the sentiment. But it is interesting that they did sit down. It did seem pretty civil, given the fact that Carney's rhetoric was really fueled by him jumping on Donald Trump and saying that his message was anti-Trump, and that seemed to fuel his comeback victory in Canada. And then to see those two sit down so close to after the election, it made for a good photo opportunity, no question about it.
Absolutely. And the only thing I don't like in the 51st state thing is we need to put an import tax on Green Day when they sing American Idiot and make fun of us, and I don't think you can tax them if they're a state, can you?
You get me fired up on that band. That guy needs to, he bitches about this country all the time, and it just drives me crazy. It's like, please, pack your crap up and leave.
And maybe dial down the eyeliner just a bit.
Yeah, you're 55 years old, dude. Stop. Yeah, enough with the eyeliner, okay? Hey, John, you got me started on something.
John, I'm glad you and I and Ditch could all, drill down on what's important today, and that is punishing Green Day.
I just am impressed that John Pudner brought up Green Day.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
I just felt guilty because I'll find myself singing the song and then go, oh, gosh, it's catchy, but I'm kind of singing about everything I hate.
Yeah. When they overturned Roe v. Wade, Green Day was in Europe, and he took to the stage and just blasted this country, and I'm like, please don't let him back on an airplane to come back here.
Nickelback would never do that, John.
Oh, that's right. Nickelback would be an American band because they're Canadian.
Absolutely. Hey, John, we got a hard break coming up. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for carving out a few minutes with us talking about the U.S. and Canada getting together post-election. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.